Hello, friends. We are here live for the daily transmission. It is Friday, April 14th, 2023. Please say hello when you arrive. I would so appreciate today hearing from you. I have got a just like jam-packed day today, so I'm going to keep this succinct. But what I really want to do is share with you a little bit about the 42nd gene key, because this is where the sun is now and through the rest of the weekend. And by the time I am able to get back and write on Substack again, it will be time to talk about another gene key. Now, 42 is one of those that I think is absolutely fascinating. And I had to laugh when I was going through the 64 ways and reading about the different energetic expressions of 42. So 42 is always the one that comes up when I'm thinking about the concept of manifestation, because this is a concept that we get these words thrown around, like the keynote words for this gene key thrown around a lot. But we often will see the shadow and the dilemma rising up when it comes to people trying to create their reality, when they're trying to manifest something, when they are trying to, improve themselves, whatever. So I want to talk about this today because I think that this is particularly relevant. I mean, we've got so many transits coming up that are going to be like Taurus oriented and about the material world and physical stuff. So I don't want to skip over the 42nd gene key. So let's talk about it. All right. Now, the 42nd gene key, this is the way of detachment. And of course, the way of is the gift. And so we're moving from the shadow of expectation to the gift, to the city of celebration. So from expectation to celebration, the gift is detachment. Now, these keywords are already starting to probably ring a bell for those of you who are even remotely familiar with manifestation or basic manifestation, concepts. Now, here is something that I think is absolutely fascinating. I didn't really put this together until I was learning about psychology and NLP and just basically how your brain works. And we talk about that a lot here, the way that your mind works and processing things. So what I want you to think about right now is like a vision board. Okay. A vision board or something, right? A mood board, something that you're using to manifest things. Now, this is a very common concept, right? The concept of a vision board. Now, I lead people in vision boarding exercises, but what I tell them to do, and this is what I want to tell you, is don't this is not your Beyonce, level 10 best life. If you are in a position where you're not sure where your money is going to come from for your bills, or maybe you have, your bills under control and everything's good, you're sustainable, stable, but you can't you've never held savings, or you can't picture yourself, you don't feel like you're in a position to buy something. Okay, so if you're sustainable renting and you don't feel like you're in a position to buy something, then the thing that's going to go on your vision board is not a 10-bedroom mansion that the Kardashians are going to live in, right? That just doesn't make sense. Your brain will literally not see you in the picture of that result. And so often people have this immense expectation that they're placing on whatever it is that they want to create. Oh, it's got to be this, and I want it to look exactly like that, and it's got to come through exactly this way. And you are squeezing all of the possibility out of the experience. And so what happens? We get disappointed. You get disappointed, and it's this cycle where you are disappointed that it's not working out, and then you're trying to identify what it is that you want, and then you're vision boarding on it, and then you're placing all of this expectation on it, and then it's not working out, and then you're disappointed, and it's just this epic spiral downward, right? And so how do you break free of that? The first thing that I want you to understand is that even though this is kind of morbid, the essence or the bottom line of the shadow of 42 and what it is that we're here to learn from here is the fear of death, right? we fear death, we fear being, our mortality. And ultimately that just comes down to fearing that we're not going to have the experience that we desire. And so it's like, we're born into the world with all of this hope and all of this like ambition. And slowly, it's like, oh, like I thought I was going to be like carried off into the sunset on a, by a white knight, that's when, oh, that's like not happening. Like, oh, like you're disappointed. And then, whatever, you think it's going to be like college and sorority and, and then it doesn't happen like that. And so you're disappointed. And it's like all of these little things just kind of chip away at that feeling of hope or that feeling of ambition. And so we either give up on our dreams, right? That's shadow disappointment. That the thing that we expected like didn't turn out the way that we wanted to. So we just like give up, hopelessness. Okay. Or we direct it through like pure force of will. It's like, no, I'm going to make this happen. And, these are the people who it's like, they're hustling and they're working so much harder than they need to achieve something. Oh my God. Like I won't even go on about it, but I see people do stuff all the time in terms of like marketing or in terms of like getting their business out there. And I just think to myself, like, is that working for you? Like, what is the success rate on you doing that, on you like cold calling people or cold messaging people or whatever it is that you're doing? Like, you need to be thinking about, okay, well, like, what is the success rate? Like, how much energy am I putting into this and what am I getting back? And where did I decide, like, who told me I had to do it like this in order for me to get my outcome, in order for me to get what it is that I want? Because that's, again, expectation. And we're just putting this like, oh, well, I expect success, I expect results based on this formula or this process or this step-by-step thing that someone else told me. Maybe it worked for them based on where they were, their skill set, the economy at the time, the support that they had, their access to resources. There's so many variables that you are completely unaware of. And so, okay, how do we get out of this? Well, the manifestation teachers, what do they say? Well, you got to detach from the outcome, right? You got to detach from the how. Like, know what you want, but detach from the how. And you're like, wait, I don't understand how that works. Like, how am I supposed to detach from what it is that I want, but also want it? Okay. So I love how they put this in here, because he says, we begin to realize in the drama of life, there is a beautiful choreography that's beyond our control. I find that so often with the people that I'm working with, the thing that they are upset about, or the thing that they're stressing about, or the thing that is like creating tension in their life is not necessarily anything that is like by creation themselves. It's literally that they're trying to control things that they simply can't. Like other people's perception of them or whatever, right? So in order for you to like let go of that, we have to become an observer of some kind. We have to become more of an observer of our behavior, our thought patterns, our emotional state, our reality, okay? And this is, again, just piggybacking off of what we've been talking about with this whole Jupiter Cazimi thing, that we are so often, we're surrounded by opportunities, we're surrounded by possibility, but because we have this impression that it's got to come through this like one little window and it's got to come through just like this. How many people do I know who are trying to start a business or whatever, and they are placing all this emphasis? They're like, oh my gosh, I need money, I need money, I need money, I need money, and it has to come through this one little window. And not to say that that's a bad thing. Like, please, like if you are starting a business, like it should make you money. Like that's the whole point of it. Okay. But at the same time, there are so many other places that money could come through to you. And so, or whatever, so it's releasing attachment, releasing control over exactly how something has to happen, and just knowing something is for you. For example, I've been sharing with you a little bit this week about how I have been feeling called to start organizing or moving toward hosting a retreat. Now, that is like very new, very like big, very scary for me, if I'm completely honest with you. And so I've done a little bit of research based on like, I've had things pop up and just things come my way. I know a lot of people right now, like I know at least like 5 of my yoga teachers are either hosting retreats right now, have just recently hosted retreats, or will be hosting retreats within the next couple of months. And so these are people that I can talk to about it. These are people I can tap into about it. Just because I've had an idea for something doesn't mean that I need to leap directly into action and be like, okay, well, I want it to be, it needs to be here. It needs to be on this date. It needs to happen just like this. Because what I'm doing is I'm creating all of these limitations and all of these boundaries. And maybe it would be easier. Maybe it would be a better experience. Maybe I will have more support. Maybe I will have a partner or a teammate to get to host a retreat with, and it won't all just be on me, and it won't be so fucking scary. I don't know, because I'm completely detached from exactly how that happens right now. I will know when it is time. I always do. Oh, I'm getting tingly right here. I always know when it is time to make the move, because I know what it is that I want, but I am not white knuckling and trying to force it into a specific way, a specific pathway for creating that. I'm open to the possibility. I am open to it being easier. I am open to all kinds of things, and I will know it when I see it. And so that's detachment. And really, when we get into like the siddhi, which of course the siddhi is the essence, like the Buddhic form, like the most enlightened form of this gene key, it's celebration. It's carpe diem. It is knowing that the best things in life are meant for you. The best things for you are always meant for you. And then if we are open to being surprised and delighted, and there's that phrase again, we keep coming back into it, it is so that Jupiter Kazemi week. If we go into our experience, if we go into our days with that feeling of celebration, that feeling of, I don't know exactly what's going to happen. I don't know exactly who I'm going to run into. I don't know exactly how it's going to happen, but I'm going to be delighted today. Who knows what could happen for you? I don't know. Yeah, he said, can you imagine for a moment your body without any fears? Because again, right, like attachment or right, expectation and disappointment, that really all just comes back to the fear of death, the fear that we're not going to have the experience that we want to have. Okay. And so can you imagine your body, how it would feel without fear? And that is the feeling of celebration. That is the experience of carpe diem and of being able to go into your day-to-day life with the spirit of manifestation. You know, those people that they just walk through the world with like this, like, they are like magnets for goodness. They are magnets for things that are meant for them, that are, you know, they just seem to always be doing great, fun, awesome things. And maybe not your definition of fun or awesome, but theirs. Okay. That's what I want for you. And that's what's available when we contemplate and transcend through the 42nd gene key. And to close, what I will say is that, you know, he points this out in the 64 ways, the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I don't know how many of y'all have read that book or watched the movie, which is funny because we were just watching an old episode of Jeopardy yesterday, and that was one of the answers, or one of the questions, whatever, was the author of the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. But anyway, so they ask a supercomputer, which we're like really getting there. I wonder what would happen if we asked ChatGPT, right, what the secret of the universe is. And so the supercomputer goes quiet for a second, and then it says that the secret of the universe is 42. And it's this like joke that, you know, of course they didn't understand it. And I don't think that Douglas Adams or, you know, had any I don't think he knew about the gene keys. I mean, I don't know, maybe he did, but I think that that's hilarious, because what is the secret of the universe? What is the secret of manifestation? What is the secret of creating your best reality for you? It's the 42nd gene key. Celebration, detaching from the outcome, releasing expectation of exactly what's going to happen, exactly how it's going to happen, so that you can let go of disappointment. Disappointment doesn't have to be part of your reality. It doesn't have to be something that happens for you. Ooh, thank you, me, for saying that, because I do remember that has been a story in my mind for a long time, right? That people will always disappoint you. People will always disappoint you, but why? When you place expectation on them, when you place expectation on how they should behave, what you think they should do, like, man, right? When you can detach from that and just witness them as they are, in their beauty, in their flaws, in their, in their whole humanity, because you're not fucking perfect either. That's when we can really like embrace relationships and embrace love and embrace people. Wow. What a great transmission today, y'all. I will be uploading this to my Substack for people who want to hear more about the 42nd gene key. Normally I would write a whole thing about it, but y'all, this week and just this last couple of weeks have been bananas. I have YTT tonight and this next couple of days. So it just really has not been in the cards for me, but I am releasing expectation of what it has to look like and choosing to believe that you are going to get exactly what you need out of this person who is now on Substack, right? So if you want to subscribe to the Substack, if you're watching this and you are not subscribed to the Substack, what are you even doing with your life? It is mamacapricorn.substack.com. I post multiple times a week all about the different transits. We've got Mercury retrograde coming next week, so stay tuned. Go subscribe on Substack. Wow, that's like a whole thing to try to say. And also subscribe to the transmission, whether that's on Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you are. And if you want to be super cool, you can share the transmission with a friend. Love you so much. I hope you have an amazing weekend. Release your expectation of how things are going to happen. Seize the day, carpe diem, friends, and have a beautiful weekend. See you Monday.